What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to talk about a very special bog plant known as a Utricularia. Now this one in particular is called Utricularia longifolia. It hails from Brazil, and so it's a little bit more, it can be grown as a bog plant, but it's not necessarily specified as so. But a lot of Utricularia grow very well in bogs, especially what these are called terrestrials. I highly recommend this one in particular. This is called Utricularia longifolia again. It puts out these big, beautiful purple orchid-like flowers on a pretty good tall scape, and there's another one coming up. Now, this one's been chewed on by caterpillars, but very, very, very easy to grow. They require distilled water, rainwater, or reverse osmosis water. If you're growing it in a bog, obviously you'll have it in rainwater more than likely. They like a soil of peat and perlite, but can do well in full peat, and they even grow basically aquatically. Now they don't necessarily like that too much, but they certainly will grow that way. Feeding them, you don't really have to feed them. You can foliar feed them, but they will get their own food that we'll talk about in a minute, which is usually microscopic organisms. Now, these leaves are short on this because it gets a lot of light, but these leaves can actually get to about 2 feet and 2.5 feet long, and there's been records of even 3 feet long. And these aren't actually leaves, these are stolons, so important to note there. Now, as far as light care, they do well in most conditions. If you want them to grow longer leaves, you're going to want to have them in a darker, shadier area, which will create longer leaves for better photosynthesis. And one thing to note with these things is you're going to want to keep them separate from your other plants, and even in a separate tray if you don't want them spreading. If you do have them in a bog, just be aware that they will grow via underground stolons like this. Now, what's cool about this one is, if I can get it to focus on one, let's see if I can find one. Might be a little difficult to see, but right in there are their traps. Now, most Utricularia terrestrials have very, very microscopic traps, but longifolia can actually be seen. They're going to catch things like nematodes and mites and different water bugs, if you will. But you can see here what I'm talking about, how it will grow out of the pot, and it will continue to spread all over the place. And here's some down here that has taken root, and just sort of some leftover media down there. Now, pests, they don't really get bothered too much by pests. Aphids will get a hold of them from time to time, but they will do well with a 3-in-1 spray. As you can see, they are not immune to the caterpillars, but that is fine. They grow so fast that it doesn't really matter. And watering heights, they can grow from relatively dry soils to extreme wet conditions, and even in this case, just once this tray fills with water, they will just grow pretty much aquatically. Highly recommend this place. Very easy to care for. It is a weed and it will take over, but the good news is once they start filling up in their pots, like most Utricularia terrestrials will do, that signals a flowering spike process so they can spread their seeds. And so that's what you have here. This pot is completely full, and because of that, it is starting to flower profusely. Now, they will burn if you give them too much light, as you can see here, and that is also from cold damage. But for the most part, keep them in your trays that you don't mind them spreading, like this right here, and they will spread through underground stolons. Now, in my future video, I'm going to talk about the difference in the pros and cons between a Utricularia, like this one, and another favorite of mine, which is Stenophila, Stelidium, which is another bog plant that will grow via underground root systems, and it also flowers profusely. But we'll do a pros and cons on both of those. But in the meantime, get yourself one of these Utricularia longifolia. You can find them on most carnivorous plant retail stores, and then also on eBay and Etsy. Fantastic plant, very, very forgiving, perfect for a bog if you're wanting to get some of that ground cover and don't mind the stolons spreading like crazy and want these beautiful flowers. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.